guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little different. We've got a room transformation for you. My children are out of town with the grandparents for a few days. So I am going to try and whip out a bedroom, maybe two, maybe 1.5. I don't know. We're going to see how far we can get. So if you're interested in seeing how we transform everything, stay tuned. So this is the original layout that I was going to go with. It was both functional and aesthetic to me. When designing a room, normally I want to walk in and see the focal point. And usually for me, that's going to be the wall with the beds. I put the beds together, and that first night, my kids were complaining about them touching each other's beds. So sometimes the aesthetic is just not quite as important as the functionality of a room. So with that in mind, I did have to go back and basically move everything, rearrange everything into something else that would work so that my kids weren't right next to each other. And before making that decision, I had already started taping a rectangle on the wall that I could paint for an accent behind the beds and the dressers. Luckily, later on, I decided that it would still work for the new layout that I found out, but here I am taping off that rectangle with some blue tape and using a laser level. Because I decided to change the layout of the room, this room ended up being more of a kind of a wing it situation where I had a pretty good idea of the things that I wanted to do and incorporate, but wasn't quite sure exactly how it was all going to work together. So I find that a lot of times when I am doing a room, that's how it works. It's just more of a process, and I'm always kind of testing things and looking at things from different perspectives before deciding and finalizing on exactly what All right, so I've got two young ones who are sharing a room, and this is what we've got so far. Take a look, a little gander. And I have actually already moved things around a bazillion times to try and figure out a good layout. Now we're debating whether we want to put our bunk beds back together. We actually had two sets of bunk beds that we cut down so all of our kids could be on the floor. And well, now we're thinking about putting them back together. Anyways, not really exactly sure where we're going with this. All I know is it's gonna be awesome. So I'm gonna start with the beds. Not so much a fan of the yellow anymore. Actually, I love the yellow, but it's just not gonna be the colors that we're going for. So I've got one that loves Spiderman and the color green. I got one that loves dinosaurs and Paw Patrol and the color orange. Not sure how we're gonna incorporate everything, so let's get started with these beds and then we'll figure it all out. Alright, it's taken me forever to make a decision, but I am gonna go ahead and paint this huge rectangle orange as a backdrop for the bed in my son's favorite color, and I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna commit, I'm gonna do it, and we'll see what else I do after that. All right, while he's putting up the curtains, let's get this painted. To get really crisp lines, I have taped out my rectangle. I've got a clear matte Mod Podge, and I'm going to take a craft brush, go around all of the seams to seal the tape so that I won't have any bleeding from my paint. I'll do that, and then I'll go back and give everything at least probably 2 to 3 coats of paint.
I wanted to create something that was both Spider-Man and Dinosaur for each of my kids that they would enjoy while also keeping a cohesive look. So I decided to get these large pieces of plywood that I had Home Depot cut down for me. They're actually 3 feet by 4 feet. I decided to do something that large because the beds were horizontal against the wall, and so they didn't have a headboard. So I felt like this would kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It would allow kind of a headboard option as well as give my kids both something that I personally created and would follow the theme that they enjoy. So I printed off my own designs for a dinosaur theme and a Spider-Man theme and left the colors neutral so that everything would remain cohesive. I really, really love these signs. They turned out super, super cool. Once I had the vinyl on, I mean, it was quite a big process because it was such a large sign that I had the help of my husband, thank goodness. But once everything was put on, I did seal everything with a couple coats of clear polyacrylic. That way it would seal the vinyl to the boards and I knew little fingerprints would get all over it and I wanted it to be easier to clean. So that is what I did. As far as hanging the signs up on the wall, we simply added some spacers so that it was at the height that we would want. And then we used a stud finder to find the studs and we drilled right through the board into the studs to make sure it was nice and sturdy. I didn't want my kids hanging on it and accidentally having it pull out of the wall. So we went the safe route and hit the studs. We added a little feature of putting this water bottle holder that you can just get off of Amazon and screwed it directly to the bed so that our kids could keep their water bottles there at night.
All right, so we got our signs on the wall and I wanted to add a couple shelves to the wall just so that the boys have somewhere to put some of their little knickknacks or toys or whatever that they want. And actually, I got my 2 signs out of a 3/4 inch sheet of plywood. And there was a 12-inch strip that was left over. So I just cut that down into 24-inch pieces. And I got some brackets. And we're just going to throw them up so we can use those leftover pieces.
Another fun and simple and cheap addition that we added was these LED strips to the bottom of the beds. I just knew that my boys would really, really love having these lights that they could change, and it would be super fun for them to play with at night.
All right, the boys' room is done. The boys are on their way home. And there's probably some room to add a few things here and there as they get a little bit older, as they accumulate some more stuff. I'm probably going to add a shelf at some point right there above that. And then we've also got a couple shelves over here that are empty. This wall, I don't know, maybe you guys can give me your opinions. I kind of feel like maybe it still needs some color. I just don't have the time. I'm not sure I'm gonna sit on it. I don't know if anybody else does that, but sometimes when I am designing and doing things, I just gotta do steps and I gotta visualize, I gotta sit on ideas and thoughts for a while. But it's really fun to see it all come together. I really love how it all turned out. We've got a little bookshelf that is also a coat rack for their backpacks and coats. And then we've got them a desk that we moved from the other room. And then my favorite is these signs. I did just repaint the beds so they are the same beds. And I just love that I love these really big signs. They're kind of act a little bit as a headboard because they don't have headboards. And then we hung up some of the curtains and we opted for a ceiling fan. I super love it. I like simple, I like clean, I don't like a lot of clutter. And a lot of times when you are trying to combine more than one taste, for example, we got Spider-Man on one side and we got dinosaurs on the other. And sometimes it's hard to combine themes like that, which is why I opted to do a more natural sign that would incorporate those themes for the kiddos. And then we have these awesome lights under the bed, which I think the boys are gonna just super love. Let's see if we can get them to turn on. There we go. So come nighttime, when they've got these lights on, and then they can change colors and do different ones, and it's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be fun for them, and I'm excited. Hopefully they like it too. We will show them and we'll see how it goes.
All right, here it is, you guys. Stick around to the end to see the reaction of my kids to the room. I really enjoyed this project. If you like this kind of content, please comment, like, subscribe, and stay notified for our next video, which is going to be another room transformation for my daughter. Thanks for watching.
Whoa, look at Mason. I am amazing. Yeah. And look, he's got the size of school.
Hey Mason, what do you think? Yeah? What do you think, Lucas? You guys like it?
Oh. Now look at this. I like it. Yeah, I like it. Do not squeeze on dinosaur. Yes.
Are you Spiderman?
Yeah. It's one on the heel. I just